Hey dolls and friends, welcome back and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. If you're new here, my name is Amber Michon, and on this channel I create budget-friendly home decor DIYs, but if you're not new, hey doll, hey. In today's video, I wanted to share with you some really fun and colorful fall DIYs using a Dollar Tree fabric and really just bust out those fall vibrant colors. Today's video is also part of a group collaboration. If you've been around for a while, I collaborate with these lovely ladies every month here on YouTube. And this month we are doing some more fall and autumn crafting for y'all. So I really hope you guys do enjoy the video. The playlist will be linked in my description box below, as well as pinned to the comments. So make sure you get more inspiration from all of these talented crafty ladies. All right, dolls, let's go ahead and jump right in. So for the first DIY, I am using this fabric from Dollar Tree that has all the colorful leaves on it. This Thankful and Blessed wood phrase, and then I have this pan from Kroger. You can use a pizza pan as well from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to go ahead and give this one good coat of my white chalk paint from Waverly, and I painted on all of the sides as well. I didn't do the bottom. The bottom is like all Easter colors because it's like pink and blue, but I just left it the way it was. After it was dried, then I just laid out my fabric to make sure that I would be able to like crease it down. And so then I'm going to put a generous amount of Mod Podge over my pan, spread a nice thin layer out, and then put my fabric right on top and just kind of smooth it out and try to get it even. I'm really focusing on getting it into the creases of the pan so that way it stretches and it is straight and I don't have a lot of creases. The main part that I had creases on is when I folded it over to lay flat on the top, like on the lip part. So that's just where I had a little bit of creases because I don't think that I was going to be able to get away from it, but it wasn't too bad. And then I just put a little bit of Mod Podge here and there when I needed a little bit more to get it to stick and stay. And that's pretty much it. Just kept smoothing it out and kept going back and forth until I was satisfied with the feel of it and the look of it. And then I just cut off the excess, and then I'm just going to let that sit aside to dry. So as my pan is drying, I'm going to go ahead and work on my Thankful and Blessed phrase. And I'm just going to use some truffle chalk paint and my white chalk paint. I'm going to paint the words, that truffle brown color, and then the greenery leafy part, the white color. I just did one coat. It's fairly easy. And I set that aside to dry. And then my pan, my pizza pan, I guess you would say, is now dry. So I just cut off the excess fabric and just cut down as close to the rim that I could. And then here is my phrase, nice and dry and ready to assemble. But I just felt like it was missing something. I needed a little bit more. So I went to my handy dandy trusty 16 millimeter half wood beads. I absolutely love using half wood beads on pretty much anything. I think it just gives it a nice, decorative touch to something to bring a piece all together. And for this piece, I decided to put in all the beads on the lip of this tray, and then I just use hot glue to attach all of those. I've seen where people put the beads on the inside of the tray, like right on the corner, and there's just regular full beads, but I just love the half wood bead look. And then I just hot glued down my Thankful and Blessed phrase right to where, on the corners of where it was touching. As you can see, I skipped putting the beads down to where like the phrase was. So yeah, I just hot glued those down. And then I just needed to enhance my lettering just a bit more. So I don't have a white like paint marker. I only have black ones and like colored ones, but I really wanted to just give the letters a little bit more of dimension and just highlight them a bit more. So I just used a small narrow paintbrush and some white chalk paint, and then just, gave the letters an enhancement, I guess you would say. I don't really know what this is called. It's not like tracing or anything because you're just enhancing some of the curvy parts of the letters. But yeah, if you have a white paintbrush, do that. But I really love how this turned out. I think it's really adorable, super easy, and that fabric just really pops on the background. Next up, we're going to take this this wood leaf from the Dollar Tree, and use some antique wax paint color as well as some white chalk paint. Now I'm going to take my painter's tape and just tape down just a bit of the half portion of, a little less than half of the the leaf, and then I just painted the top using my antique wax color and a foam brush. I did go back and wipe down with a baby wipe, and then just kind of went back and forth until I was happy with the look of it and the color of it. I wanted it a little dark but not too light, so I went back over some of it with my paintbrush. Once I was done, I removed the tape and then repositioned it so that I could paint the bottom portion of this leaf using the white chalk paint color. Now for this DIY, I'm actually not using any fabric. I just wanted to throw this one in there because I've had this idea, I've seen this DIY or something close to it like on Pinterest, so I just wanted to try it on my own. So after I was done with the painting, I just did one coat of each. I removed the painter's tape, and then I went to my Cricut Joy and I cut out kind of like these leopard animal print on a stencil vinyl. I absolutely love using stencil vinyl because I don't buy all of the colors of stencil that you can purchase. I just prefer to use stencil vinyl and just paint it because I have millions of paint colors. So yeah, so after I weeded all of that out, once I cut it out on my Joy, then I just placed it down on my leaf and then just cut off some of the pieces where it wasn't going to touch any of the leaf. And then I just did this a couple of times. I actually had to cut this out 3 times. I did not measure it. I just actually cut out the leopard print before I even knew I was going to use the leaf. So yeah, it made me do this a little bit long. Have to do this a little bit longer than I needed to, but it's all right. I lined everything up the way that I needed to and just used the excess pieces on the parts that I was not able to cover. Then I used my pumpkin colored chalk paint from Waverly and a stippling brush. I actually got these sets of brushes from Amazon. They're actually, I think, oral swabs, but they work great for stippling, for like stenciling. And it was perfect for it. And I just did one coat. I let it dry just for like a few seconds. And then I removed the stencil and this came up so pretty. I really love this look. I am obsessed with it. And I want to do more and I want to try something different. I know Christmas crafting is coming up, so I don't know if I'll be able to incorporate this look to it, but this is what it looks like once I'm done. I absolutely love it. I put it on the inside of a wreath, a really colorful wreath. I just thought that it would pop and look so good, but I think it would look even better inside of like just a greenery wreath. So if you have one and you do this, I think that will look amazing. For my last DIY today, I'm taking this beach sign from the Dollar Tree, this pumpkin with a give thanks phrase and some leaves in it. I got it from Target's Dollar Spot last year, and then this really pretty orange and yellow pumpkin fabric from the Dollar Tree. So what I'm going to do is just remove the beach word from the sign, and then I'm going to remove all 4 sides of the border on this sign, and then I'm going to remove the tape. Yes, you guys, the paper. And yes, I'm actually going to remove the paper on this sign. It was actually relatively easy for me to remove it. And I was very careful with the border because I'm going to reuse the border. But once I was able to get all of the tape up, I had a really nice clean surface for me to work on. So I'm going to take those border pieces and I'm going to paint them white. I did that off camera and I gave them one coat. And then for my sign, I'm actually going to use the fabric on here. Thought about using the fabric for the pumpkin, but just wanted really the fabric to be like that pop of the background. So I used a generous amount of Mod Podge and gave it a thin layer on my sign and then placed down my fabric. And I think this might be one of my favorite fall DIYs. It's not really in the realm of like the colors that I normally use. I'm really like a neutral and like muted tone fall color person. Like I try to stay away from like the bright colors of fall, but this gave me all of the feels, y'all. So yeah, and then I just did a little bit more Mod Podge over the top of the fabric on the corners, and then cut this down to size so that I was able to fold it over. So instead of trying to cut it down right on the edge of the sign, I just hot glued the excess fabric onto the back, and it made it so much easier just to flap it over and then just hot glue it down. I let it dry for a couple of hours, and this is what it looks like. It's so pretty. I really love this fabric. I think it's just really pretty. And then I took the pumpkin from Target's Dollar Spot. I'm not going to use the leaves. I'm just going to use the Give Thanks phrase. And I actually painted this pumpkin originally using my antique wax color, but I didn't really like it. It wasn't giving me what I wanted to. It wasn't dark enough. So basically, I painted it using my antique wax color, and then I wiped it down using like a dry baby wipe, but it wasn't giving, y'all. So I went back with my truffle chalk paint color and I let it dry just for a couple minutes, and then I went back and wiped it down with that same dry baby cloth, and it gave me a little bit more of what I was looking for. So I just kept going back and forth until I was happy with the consistency look of it. And then I decided to paint the trim of the pumpkin using some white chalk paint, and I just used a narrow brush for that skinny narrow brush for it, and I just did one coat for all of that. I actually also painted the Give Thanks phrase using my pumpkin chalk paint color like I did in the last DIY. So this is what everything looks like once it's painted and dried. And what I love about the Give Thanks phrase is that it is an adhesive backing, so all I did was just peel off the paper on the back to it. But what I did for my border, I just replaced my border and just hot glued them right down on top of the sign where the fabric was, and then I hot glued my pumpkin right onto the middle of this sign, of course right side up, because the pumpkins on the fabric are going one way up, so I had to remind myself to do that. So yeah, I hot glued that down, and like I said, the backing is adhesive on the Give Thanks phrase, and I just removed the paper and put that right down on to the middle of the pumpkin. And then I made a hanger using 4 wood beads, 2 small ones, 2 large ones, hot glued it to the back, and that's it for this DIY. I think it came out so adorably cute. I really love the pop of these bright orange colors, y'all. It's giving me everything. I don't know why I needed these colors in my life right now. All right, dolls, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and make sure you head down to the playlist in my description box below to check out even more fall and autumn DIY crafting. All right, be blessed, stay safe, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye.
I need you more.